music's heavy, I don't get it. How come I haven't hit it already? Still working, I'm still learning, I'm still searching, finally earning something, finally turning something called a profit.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So today we will going to explain integrity issue and challenge. According to Merriam-Webster Dictionary, integrity is the quality or condition of being absolute or indivisible. It means that the person is being fair and justice towards the action they do and be accountable to it. In the public sector, it is important to have integrity as it will lead to the good governance. Moreover, in the process of delivering its service, the public sector owes a strong social obligation and a transparency to the society at large. Integrity within the public administration is usually related to the means of fighting corruption, bribery, maladministration, with a view to create a culture of ethical action for all actors in the political and administrative framework. In Malaysia, the integrity issue has been discussed for years in order to reduce corruption cases and other challenges that can affect the country's development. In the 2017 Corruption Perception Index, Malaysia dropped 7 places to be ranked 62 among 180 countries with a lower score of 47. The country's worst performance since the last 5 years and the lowest ranking since the 1994 index was launched. It shows that Malaysia have faced the worst ethical issues in the past 3 years since it ranks dropped to 62. When it comes to integrity issue and challenge, it means that the action did by the people is not equivalent to the meaning of integrity itself. It is because enhancing integrity is partially about mitigating bribery and corruption, but it's mainly about the level of responsibility for democracy. For example, the integrity issue that has been arise in Malaysia are corruption, abuse of power, money laundering, embezzlement, which most of the public officials are to be caught in a snare. According to Outreach 2011, in order to promote and sustain the public integrity, a nation must develop a good integrity system with a strict guidelines.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I would briefly explain about the case involving Datuk Seri Muhammad Hertoyo. On 29 May 2007, Datuk Seri Muhammad Hertoyo was found received 2 lot of lands and a unit of house which is located in Shah Alam. He get the properties through Samsudin Haryani, which is the chairman of the Tamas Sdn Bhd. The house is valued at 6.5 million, but Datuk Seri Muhammad Hertoyo buy from Samsudin about 3.5 million. At that time, Datuk Seri Muhammad Hertoyo is the Menteri Besar of Selangor, while Samsudin Haryani is the director of the Tamas Sdn Bhd. They usually cooperate and have many projects together. At first, Samsudin want to sell the house at 6.5 million, but Datuk Seri Hertoyo resist to buy at that price. He say it is too expensive. But after having some discussion with his wife, which is Samsudin, he agreed to sell the house at Datuk Seri Muhammad Hertoyo at RM 3.5 million because he afraid that his business in Selangor would be affected later. Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission found that Datuk Seri Hertoyo is found guilty and he was sentenced to 12 months imprisonment and ordered the property to be deprived of the government to the extent that the appellant's right to it.
In this case, of course, the people who were involved nonetheless Khairutoyo himself. The involvement of his corruption issue with Syarikat Ditamas Sdn Berhad Syamsuddin Haryoni, which they have been working together at related project. Besides that, Khairutoyo's wife is also involved in purchase case of the mansion Zara Kecil. As we know, the onset of this issue is when Khairutoyo intends to purchase a mansion with Syarikat Ditamas Sdn Berhad at 3.5 million ringgit, whereas the original price is purchased at 6.5 million. However, when Khairutoyo discussed with his wife, at sudden, Syamsuddin has agreed to sell at the price that had been demanded, as he was afraid to be affected by his business and project in Selangor. With Khairutoyo position as the Menteri Besar Selangor, he was able to use his influence to affect the company. On May 29, 2007, the agreement was signed by Khairutoyo and Syarikat Ditamas Sdn Berhad at the residence of Menteri Besar Selangor. The total amount of 500 million has been paid for cash. The remaining 3 million ringgit paid through OCBC bank loan. According to the Penal Code, Section 161, Khairutoyo was found guilty, and the court decided 12 prison and commanded his property size.
One of the implications of having ethical violation is it will affect the organization in terms of customer retention. The existing customer will have different views and expectations towards the individual who violates the codes of ethics as well as the organization. A damaged reputation of the individual will affect the trust or faith that the public have towards him, which consequently contributing in damaging the organization reputation. This erosion of trust will slowly increase customer discouragement, which means losing the confidence and trust they have towards the organization, and ended up with choosing other individual or even organization willingly, which they find more capable and reliable to fulfilling their interests. Other than that, unethical conduct also leaves an impact to the individuals involved. It means that individuals that conduct the unethical behavior and people who related to the misconduct have to bear several actions which reciprocate on what have they done. The individuals may have to face disciplinary actions or criminal charges or defamation that as well affecting their family's life and reputation. The seriousness of the misconduct decides the seriousness of actions taken against them. And if it happens in large scale such as corruption on state level or national level, then it gives more impact to the individuals as it will be reported and known throughout the nation. The defamation that they have to bear also prone to lowering their credibility and status in the same time. Their status which will be remain low for a long time as people will remember it for a big event to the state or the country.
So now I will explain more about the implication if someone in the organization is doing an unethical work. So the implication is it can blur the line between the action of right or wrong in the organization. It means that the unethical action can frustrate the members who has the highest standard in their work. So it can give them a dilemma in whether to report or to turn a blind eye on the unethical action that has been doing by someone. Example in related to the case of Datuk Seri Khairutoyo, who is the leader of the organisation, which is he as the Selangor Chief Minister has doing a corruption. So it shows that the unethical action can affect the organisation as the culture and the environment can be disturbed, and it can affect overall productivity of the organisation. So the last implication is it can be setting a bad example towards the member in the organisation. So ethical behaviour always start from the top management. It is because the top management is as a role model towards the member in the organisation. The employees will always emulate their leaders, and the personal behaviour is the most significant factor in the ethical leadership. If the leader has the highest standard in their work, the employees will follow them and the productivity of the organisation will increase. So for example, in the Datuk Seri K. Toyo cases, he as the Selangor Chief Minister has failed as the leader because he has tarnished the image of the organisation, which is the Barisan Nasional. He as the leader should be the better role model as he is the public face of the organisation. To conclude, it shows that the leader play an important role as the role model, and any action taken by the leader will have the consequences towards all the members.